Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Edinah.
Hi, Lina.
How's everyone doing? I'm so excited to be here on another episode of Here2Help. My name is Lina Cordero. I am the owner of Onlychild Design. You guys can check out my work at onlychilddesign.com with only one D between child and design. And I am here on another Here to Help episode with an amazing designer that I'm so excited to collaborate with. And I've told you this many times of the record, Edinah, but I just want to make it official. I'm in love with her work. And since the moment I landed on your Instagram account, I was like, I need to collaborate with her someday. And here we are. So yes, for those of you who don't know what Here to Help is, it's actually a special edition of Adobe Live where two designers joined forces to help a business in need that has been affected by this recent turn of events. So today, it's going to be Edinah helping us, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a second. Let me just run through a couple of housekeeping items so that we can get to work. And let me see. So today's schedule, it's going to be, like every day, a very busy one. We start at 7:30 a.m. with Paul Trani and Vector Illustrations. Then we had Jesus Ramirez for the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. And then he continued on with some photo composing. After that, we had Andrew with the Daily Creative Challenge for Illustrator. And now we're here. We are doing brand and identity with Edinah from Wildlogic. We're gonna continue on with the XD Creative Challenge and then going to the draw along with Kyle at 2:30. We're gonna finish the day with the design off between Voodoo Bal and Newbie Art. So it's a really exciting day. I encourage you guys to, if you guys haven't already taken the Daily Creative Challenge, I encourage you to do so. You guys can go to behance.net challenge illustrator /challenge/illustrator and go to the Discord channel. That's where you can see what the Daily Creative Challenge for today is, which we have editing colors. And I love that feature in Illustrator. It saves so much time. So if you guys have never used it, you have to go check out the challenge after this. Don't leave us yet. And we will be reviewing some of the challenges today later with Edinah. And Edinah is a master of color. If you guys haven't checked her Instagram, go check her Instagram at Wildlogic. So some input from her, it's gonna be really good. And that's the housekeeping stuff. So with no further ado, Edinah, tell us about yourself and your design. I'm sure people would love to hear more about you.
Yes, I am Edinah. I am a visual designer / multidisciplinary artist, commingling within various fields of communication. I like to I like to embrace that idea of being an artist, of being a visual artist, because I don't feel like there's one way to creation. I love the idea of color, and the first time I began injecting color, I started to find more of my visual voice. So that word is very important to me, visual. And so Wildlogic was basically that world. I birthed my own creative world, by way of fashion industry, whereby it gave me another place to get to know myself, to be honest. I had taken this degree intensely for 3 years and found myself not really sure of where to go and what direction to take myself within. And so we're currently on my website, which has a selection of my portfolio. And essentially, when I started Wildlogic, it was a space for me to get to know my voice. And so I never had my name on it. I didn't show myself. I didn't put my name on it for a while because it was more about the journey for me, getting to know myself and getting to share that. So color selection, typography, it's something that is very much rooted in the journey for me. And so throughout everything, you'll kind of see there's a deeper meaning behind it, whether it's art direction, creative collateral, to illustration, my brief stint in animation, and like coloring and brand identity. So I pride myself in being able to, I like the word type connoisseur, and I really like the idea of being just like wild and free. So yes, that's me.
I love it. And you can really see that in your work. The way you play with type is so free.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy to be here, you guys. Hi, everyone in the chat too.
Hello.
Sorry, I wasn't saying hello to you guys before. I had a problem with my chat. And Cornell, you're asking me where I charge myself. I don't know where I find energy, but coffee, it's definitely one of the ways. And I'm so happy to have you guys all here. Tell us where you're visiting from.
Yeah.
Edinah is visiting from London, and I'm visiting from LA.
Around 2 hours, just 2 hours north of London. Yeah.
So if we have any English people in the chat, tell us. And for those of you who are just joining, and also for those of you who did not see the past episode of Here2Help, Here2Help is a special edition of Adobe Live where two designers are joining forces to help a business in need pro bono. And today we are helping Bryn Cohn and artists. This is a fun business to help because she's actually going through a transition herself. She is a choreographer and movement director who's established in New York right now, and she's switching to LA. And with that switch, her career is also changing a little bit. She's going from the concert world and like the more traditional dance world, I would say, to the commercial realm. So that's our challenge for these two episodes. We're turning a brand that, and I'm actually going to pull up her current website right now. This is her current website, and if you look at these, you do get the idea that it's a very high art approach, and maybe it's something that if you don't understand dance or if you're not interested in dance, you might not be attracted to. So that's our challenge for these two episodes. We're gonna turn this brand into something that feels more commercial and more like relatable, I would say. So something that would look fun to someone even though they're not into the dance world, but still attracting that audience of dance. So it's going to be a challenge, a really fun challenge that we're going to tackle. And we're going to start with Edinah, which she prepared an amazing mood board that she's going to share with us. So we can go to her screen.
Yeah. This is my screen. This is what we're doing. So basically, as Lina described, we essentially kind of dissected her brand a little bit more and got to know who she is and how she's transitioning, because as Lina said, she is transitioning and transforming not only herself, but the way that she's going to be servicing her business. And reading more about her ethos, her mission and vision, we created a mood board that is vivacious, bold, soulful and captivating, but rooted in shapes and silhouettes, because that's what dancing is about. It's about creating movement with our body, and something that she's a contemporary dancer too. And so that's very much fluid within the idea of the music and the essence behind that. So essentially, this mood board exudes that. This mood board is about connection. It's about layering. It's about captivating. And she's a woman founder too. So we wanted to accentuate that and really tap into that knowing of like who she is, but also highlighting that it's about amplifying artists as well. So yes, this is her mood board.
And I love the way you create mood boards. Like I don't know about you guys, and tell us in the chat, but my mood boards don't look as cool as Edinah's at all. Like you guys have probably seen my mood boards in past episodes, and they're just like squares. And then when she showed me her mood boards, I'm like, oh, you are making the mood board this time, because they're just like so artistic, and you can really see that you're a true artist through your mood boards. And do you want to tell us more about your mood boarding process? Or if you have any tips or tricks that you implement while mood boarding?
Yes, 100%. So first and foremost, it's looking through that brand quick off that she had produced really helped, because it was just kind of getting to know her from her perspective. And then from there, I can load Pinterest. From there, she had put together a Pinterest board, kind of separating the idea of like typography, photography treatment, graphic illustration, and color palette. And again, we were able to kind of see her from her perspective. And so Pinterest is a visual mood board. It's literally just visuals. It's a search engine of visuals. It's the most amazing place ever. And so getting to see how she already verbally wrote down like how she sees herself, we got to then see how she visually. And so by separating, she offered us a route into her visual world. So starting with color palette, by selecting various imagery, we'll be able to see there's see the key. So she likes red, she likes bright colors, she likes bold, she likes things that stand out, but she also really appreciates white space, because this is bold, but there's a lot of clear space around it. This is also quite bold, but she likes a lot of clear space around it. So just by seeing by putting together a deconstructed mood board on Pinterest is a great place to start, because it allows the designer, the creator, to kind of create a mini avatar of a brand just by starting to build something from like her words. So back to the mood board, considering her keywords, we compiled a few from her brand quick off. And these kick off, yes. And these are the ones that really stood out the most, and what were ones that she wanted to captivate and stand out the most. We actually created 2 mood boards for her, and this was the one that's really made the difference. And so yeah, that's a bit of the process.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dina. That's really helpful, and everyone's loving on your mood board in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna kill this name, but that one, Brooks is saying that your mood board already looks like the finished product.
Oh.
which I agree with. It's true. Yes, and I know, Camila, my mood boards don't look like this either, so don't feel bad.
No, yeah, don't feel bad. Honestly, it's just probably because of my background, because I do have a fashion background. It's something that we were taught to kind of approach in the degree. And so having that just allows, I guess my approach is a little bit unlinear. Yeah. But yeah, there's no right or wrong way to a mood board, as long as it just speaks to the brand.
Yes, there is no right or wrong way in any design, anything. Like, if I remember the first time that I came to Adobe, I was so nervous because I'm like, my process, it's not like clear, or it's not like good, or like what I consider good. I'm like, it's a mess. And really, like, I'm just realized there's no right or wrong ways to do things. So that's something that to take into consideration. Like, we're presenting you guys with some solutions and how we tackle things, but really there's an unlimited way of doing things. But then I just realized I forgot to mention what we're going to be working on today. Oops. We're gonna be working on the brand identity for Bryn. So we're gonna start with typography, color palette, logo design on today's episode, and then on tomorrow's episode we're gonna create some assets, social media templates, and a website banner based on what we create today. So stay tuned today and tomorrow for what we're gonna be doing. And today, Edinah is the one that's gonna be designing on her computer, so we can go back to her computer and start the fun.
Yeah, so something that I like to do when setting up any branding project, any project in general, is just setting up my space, my workspace. It's not necessarily as organized, but just in a way that it's methodical to me. So for every single, I create these like mini boards, you could say, whereby I denote what the board is and I label what the project is for. And so here is going to be the color palette, and it's for Bryn Cohn and artists. I also like to keep a reminder of the keywords nearby me, because it means that every time I'm selecting a color, or every time I'm building a typography suite or a logo suite, I'm reminding myself and mindful of where it's supposed to be routing back to, which is some keywords, which is bold, dynamic, soulful, and approachable. And yeah, so essentially, when looking, like selecting a color palette, for me, I like to just go straight in and just create shapes. I like to use circles or rectangles, but basically, however big the shape is how dominant the color is. So I think I'm going to use rectangles today. And so I just select a series of shapes. I just make the shape, copy, Command C if you're on a Mac. I think it's Control C if you're on a PC, and then Command V, Command Shift V. And when you Command Shift V, it copies right on top. Can't really tell because it's a black shape, so that's not very helpful. But that's what I like to do. I just like, again, to create myself like a space, a design space, because then if my ideas kind of make sense, like if there's like a reasoning to it, then I feel like there's a journey within that. I'm mapping out a route of creation. So I just start with like the most dominant colors, and I just like to swatch for now. definitely red. I see hints of blue, maybe not that blue. And then I also see this like pink, this peach tone. So those are like my strongest hues that I see. Something that I think is amazing is this year Pantone actually gave their have added their library, their photo library onto the Adobe color. I think it's like the color guides. And I just think it's amazing because the reason why I like to design in Pantone is because what you want to what you want to be mindful of is when you're creating a brand, you want to make sure that this can go beyond you. You want to make sure that, okay, when they use this logo or they use this type or whatever assets that they're using, you want to consider the fact that, you know, they may want to print some things out. They may want to create a mini brand per se. They may want to adjust things, and because they're not typically, every client is not a designer or aware of these things. Pantone is a universal system of colors and hues and swatches, and so a lot of printing agencies are going to understand more so Pantone than a hex value, and especially if you're creating in an RGB mode or a CYMK mode.
CMYK.
Yeah, so RGB is digital usage and CYMK is print. So those are things you want to consider, because if you know, like I've just loaded the Pantone. I've got it. I always have it loaded here, so I'm never too far away from it. But for example, if I just was to go ahead and swatch this, and I just say, yeah, this is your value, what you'll be surprised by is if you actually head to this Pantone color finder, you can actually search via hex value, and you think that, you know, you're choosing this color, and what's quite crazy is like you end up searching it and it's completely separate. It's completely different. And so that's why I'm always considerate of that.
Yeah, that is definitely something really important to consider. Like, trying to give your client all of the options. And actually, Adobe has a really great tool too, where you can convert your hex values to Pantone Pantone values.
Amazing.
And if you go to Adobe Color, actually, how is it? Maybe we can come to my screen just for a second so I can show you guys how to do this, if I figure it out. Because so let's see, and maybe yes, please, let's share my screen for a second. Well, you can switch now, but actually, and maybe someone in the chat can help me because I always do this, but I never remember how to do it. But basically, if you come to, oh damn, okay, you know what? Let's see. So yeah, you go to color.adobe.com and it will, where is it? No, you can change it here to CMYK and HSV, which I never used HSV, but you can see the values for the different ones, and you can also do Pantone, but I'll get back to you guys on that because I got lost. I'm sorry that we came to my screen for nothing. Let's go back to Edinah. I'll find it. I'll find it and I'll share it with you. I promise.
Okay. You're hilarious. Yeah, I mean, that tool is amazing though, because it just means that, it means that you can find the value and be even like RGB and making sure it's CYMAK safe means that you'll be aware as well. You'll be making the client aware of what the color is going to look like whether they print it or not. So either or, it's a really amazing tool.
Yes, and I agree with you. Using Pantone, it's like the only real way to ensure that that color is the same everywhere. And I always get into this conversation with my clients because they're like, oh, I see something on the screen and then I print it and it looks different. I'm like, we have to understand that screens, they're all calibrated differently. So a design can look slightly different in my screen than it looks in yours. And same thing for printers. All printers print differently too, because they might be slightly calibrated differently. So the only way to ensure that a color is universal and looks exactly the same here or in London or anywhere, it's using Pantone values. So that's a really good call, Dina.
Yeah, it's super important. And yeah, you're so right. It's something that can carry across the globe, like a printing company from in the States to printing as like an object in a factory in Europe, for example. It's global. So I just selected some key values. I mean, it'd be great to hear what you think, if there's anything that we should add, but I feel like those are the strongest hues.
Yes, I think that's a great way of starting for sure. And then I don't know what your process usually looks like. I like to go in and look for either like darker or lighter hues of some of them that might like complement or look good.
Complementary ones, right? Yeah, almost like a secondary and a primary values.
Yes, that too. I think that's good to just like have another variety just in case it's and that also like depends. I don't know if what your thoughts on these are, but I feel that also depends sometimes in the brand and how much they're really gonna like. If this was a design for a brand that it's about to develop an app, maybe we want to go into a lot more colors and like web colors and maybe a tertiary palette or secondary palette for just illustration. So it really like that's color.
Depends, yeah.
I think for like it's so relative because some brands might just need 4 or 5 colors and that's it. But some of them might need so much more for app development and illustration. So it really depends. I mean, we have to consider she's a small business and I don't think she's gonna develop an app anytime soon or come up with custom illustrations or anything that needs a palette, like a really, really extended palette right now. So I think that for this matter, we can go with just a primary palette.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and then what I do is like based on, I'm not really sure about this one at the end. I feel like I'm not sure about this one either. Maybe if I swap it, does that look better?
I like it. I like the top one. I like how the top one looks. I mean, it's the same colors. They just
it's just
but it does make a difference, right?
Difference.
Colors, so
it's wild. So like literally once I have like done this, once I've selected like the key colors and the key focal points, I like to then, especially considering her brand and considering the keywords, I then like kind of open up the Pantone and go ahead and find the colors that are most suited, essentially. I selected, this one's like gone on me. It was here. Maybe we can select it together. Oh.
Eddie says that he likes that color palette. Oh, he's also asking if, and he's like, so in summary, do we follow Pantone? It's hard to say, because also there is something to consider. I would say you always have to provide RGB, CMYK, and Pantone alternatives. Why? Because you also have to take into consideration that printing in Pantone, it's more expensive than digital printing. So that CMYK, it's often more expensive. So that also depends on your customer's budget and what they're going to be using this for. Because if your customer, it's an app, they might need the hex value way more than the Pantone if they're not going to do any printing. If your client is a combination of printing and digital, then always provide CMYK, RGB, and Pantone. If it's always good to provide it no matter what, but I just want to say that it might not be used because they might not have the budget to print with spot colors, and they might need to print in CMYK. So just provide everything and see what they need. Yeah. and if you can tell them about why Pantone it's important and why you would need it, then it would be good. But yeah, I would say definitely those three would be good.
I agree.
Hi, Parth. Yes, I remember you. How are you? So good to see you in the chat. Sorry, okay, we're back to color palette.
No worries. Familiar faces. So I've selected a red. I feel like this is the closest from the Pantone selection.
I think it looks really close.
Like the closest I can get, otherwise it's like that.
Yeah, I think that one looks pretty accurate. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Let's see. So you just do this like by eye? You look at the colors and then good eye.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Sometimes I put them into like third-party apps, but I find this way pretty effective. Do you do a different way?
Yes, with the tool that I was not able to provide. Oh. Guys. I'm gonna have to have a call with the Adobe team and see if they remove that, because I can't find it, or maybe it's I'm becoming crazy.
Well, saying that, because I used to use an application called Coolers, and they used to have Pantone on there too. And then when I recently went back on there, it's gone as well. So, maybe it's just like a thing that's happening.
That's crazy. I don't know. And there and there's another way of converting them through the edit colors too. Which,
here on the app?
Yes, on the Illustrator app. But I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I just I don't learn the stuff and I just Google every time how to do it. Like converting, and I just go from a little tutorial, because there's so many things your mind can handle.
Yeah. Another way to change the color document. So right now we're in RGB, because I think that RGB provides like the brightest, like the most truest tone, especially when it's web. But if you do need to change it and you're in the document and you need to print out, or you want to do a test strip, you just go to File, Document Setup, Document Color Mode, and you literally CYMK, and I don't know if you could tell, but it just gently shifted it. And so the only thing is if you go back, if you want to change it back, it doesn't change the colors. So for some reason, CYMK will if you change the document type from RGB to CYMK, it will change the color. But if you do it the other way around, it won't. So I just always
Ah.
undo it and click Command Z and it will get me back. So I don't know if you noticed that I went back on there and did it.
See, that's good. That's a good trick
Yeah.
to see how that also, because I think it's also very important to check how your color palettes look in both color spaces. This has happened to me before when I'm designing in RGB and I'm like, oh my God, this is looking amazing. I love it. And then you go to CMYK and you're like, oh yeah.
Oops.
It's not that cool. So definitely always do what Edinah just did.
I mean, it can't hurt, right?
Yes. No, I agree. And Colin, thank you so much for putting in. He's actually jumping in and telling us how to do the color change via
Edit.
Adobe, via Illustrator, and it's going to your edit colors and then recolor artwork, and then you click on the color space and you just go to the color space on the books. You go to Pantone. Pantone.
Oh wait, down here. Oh, okay.
So if you go, let me see. You. So if you actually, let me just. Let me see. Okay, so if you go to my screen, we're going to edit colors, recolor artwork. Oh, let's do it again. Edit colors, recolor artwork. And then here, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna select color books. So I want these to be a Pantone coded, let's say. And then now when I go okay and I get out, you can see in my colors that it now has selected a Pantone color automatically. So it did automatically select the closest Pantone match. So that is a really good tool as well that you guys can use.
That's really cool. I, for some reason, cannot find that.
So, go to edit
and then edit colors.
Edit colors, recolor artwork, the first one.
Yeah.
And then when you click on, there's like a little square in there where your libraries are, right next to the RGB or CMYK scroller.
Oh, this?
Okay. And to the right, a little bit to the right there.
Yeah. This?
Yes. So select color books. Yes. So you can select any Pantone color book there and you can just switch automatically and it will select it. But see, things are disappearing on both of us today. That things are disappearing on both of us.
Yes. So back to, I guess, the color palette. Essentially just go Command C, Command V, and just making sure that everything is like notated, and just so like I'm aware of like what it is that I'm doing. Let's make this a little bit smaller.
And for those of you guys who are just joining us, hello. And we're here with Edinah from Wildlogic, and we're designing an identity for an entrepreneur in need of help. And she is a choreographer and dancer. So we're basically rebranding her old company to be more approachable and more
Bold.
Bold.
Yeah. And so I think that the way that you had just shown essentially just updates all the colors, or is it?
I think we have to go color by color, but
Manually. Okay.
Yeah, but it's okay because
we'll just
I think we can, like right now we have a good solid color palette that we can go with. We have the idea, and then we can convert them into Pantone. I always do. I don't know what your process it's like, but I always like experiment with the color palette first before going into all the conversion, because sometimes it happens that the client wants to keep exploring, so every time that you explore the colors, it's like going in and putting on all the values and doing all of that. It takes me forever, so I usually just like play with color, and when it's final, I give them all of the values and all of the conversions. That I found that helped me save a lot of time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's really good. I typically I kind of do that because it depends. Like typically on my branding projects, I do one concept branding. So I try to get as much information as possible in the research and discovery, and then I do label them to an extent so that they are aware of the values. But in terms of, I think it's just something I naturally do. I just always name them. Yeah, I've always done that. But I think that's a good idea, though, exploring with them, just showing them first before giving them everything, because sometimes too much information is overwhelming as well.
Yeah, that's true. I think both. Again, everything works in the design world, and
everything works.
Anna is telling us that the only accurate way to match a color is actually having the Pantone books and looking at it in the daylight, which again, yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, you have to spend like $300 in getting those things to be able to match it 100%. That is the hard reality of a designer. Hi, Cara. Thank you for joining us. She says that she loves the color palette.
Oh, yay. Remembering these is just...
And Eddie, too, he's saying that this color palette is growing on him. Yes.
Oh, see?
I love
magic
it,
of color. I'm thinking, do you think this should be warmer? I feel like it should be warmer. This last one?
I think it might, but it gives a good contrast this way. Like I feel that it might give us more contrast when we use it in assets if it's like, do you say cooler? But
yeah,
I don't know. That's another thing that I've found that for me, playing with, I think out of the branding process, what I find hardest is the color, like everything related to color, because it's really hard for me to picture something without actually like putting it together into one asset. I mean, you're a color expert and you have that background in which I'm assuming, I don't know, that when you were studying fashion, you do have to do a lot of color and color theory and color pairing, and like especially if you're designing patterns and things like that, it's a lot of really like going in depth with color. So, but I would never be able to do these in a second like you did.
Oh, wow, thank you. You're so kind. I bet you can. It's practice for sure. But I think we've created a pretty bold, dynamic, soulful and approachable palette so far.
I love it. I say it. If I were the client, I'll be down with it.
Yes.
Let's just pretend I'm the client. Oh, actually, the client is here.
Yay,
she just texted us. Hi, Bryn. Thank you so
Bryn.
much for joining us and seeing this process come to life. She says,
Okay.
I would love to see the blue more electric, vibrant, and bold like the mood board. So see
so
that
like
we get instant
that?
feedback.
What about this?
Bryn, are you there?
What about
Imagine that designing was like this every time.
what do you think?
Live with the client.
Live with the client.
Eddie is asking, what does the logo look like? Concepts. We are getting into that.
We're getting there,
Yes, we will get into that really soon. So
yeah.
What do you think? Should we move on to
typography
or
typography?
Whatever you want, Edinah. It's your process.
It's typography. Yes.
Typography it is.
Typography it is. I will adjust that one after the fact, but I think that's pretty strong. I think that they're very strong hues.
And Bryn says yes, she likes that. So
okay,
we're up to typography.
Good. Let me quickly. I think it was 64. 80. If remembering means 84.56. Okay. So I think it's really important as well, just to mention, like, if we can, like, once you solidify the color palette or once you solidify anything, it's really important, I feel, to just make notes of these things, even if you haven't completed it, but making sure you've got the CYMK and RGB, because then when it comes to doing the rest of it, it's literally like copy and paste. You just already know, and you don't have to do it later on because you've already done it.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah. So now on to typography. Just a few notes to consider is just when you look at the board, the imagery has been selected purposefully to inspire the typography as well. And so whether it's, when you see here, it's like a mixture of sans serif, the New York, and the serif font to show like that's something that she's interested in seeing. That's something that we're looking to explore. And when it comes to For All Womankind, it's bold. That's the dynamism behind it. So those are things that we want to consider now when selecting the typography or playing with typography, even here in terms of like hierarchy and subtle hints here and here. So for Bryn Cohn and artist, it's definitely important that we're going to explore both, but that it's rooted in these slight notes and elements. So over here, I've begun to put together some typography that I felt was inspired by the mood board. So kind of a bit bold, but a little different too, because something that we wanted to highlight is that this is a separate entity to what was once in New York and is now transferring and transmuting and becoming something new on the West Coast. So we chose actually a wide, like we were thinking of a wide font, because flat wide sans serif is a font that is modern, is easy to digest as well, and by making the my mind escapes me.
Kerning?
This is deleted.
Tracking, kerning. I always get those two messed up. Guys, help us in the chat, please.
It's tracking.
Tracking
to. I set this to 150 because it creates like that space, and it again makes it modern too. We've gone ahead and selected, just to explore, a bold sans serif that will kind of just be limited, like mainly to like big titles and headlines, and then a legible, somewhat condensed paragraph in Acumen Light. What do we think?
I love that typography in the headline one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, and as well, these are all Adobe fonts. These are all available via Typekit. So it's amazing, easy to access. Once you have enabled it, it's on every Adobe device on your desktop.
I think that's my favorite tool that Adobe has come up with. Like, I don't know what I would do without Adobe fonts. It's
the typography, right?
Best.
Yeah. What do you
Cool.
think, Bryn?
I really like those. Bryn.
Bryn. Everyone. Yeah, no, everyone. What do we
people,
think?
Anyone?
What do we think?
Do you guys have any thoughts about those typographies? Should we try to pair some other ones just to have a second choice and see what people like? Or should we move on to logo design?
Logo suite.
Guys, this is your opportunity to tell us if you guys want to continue exploring typography or moving into logo design. Let's see. Okay. So let's try others, please. Great work, looks great. Love the way Edinah works.
Oh, thank you.
Eddie says that he likes the typography that you had for all womankind. This is so funny, Eddie. Actually, we love that typography too, but it turns out it's really close to what the client is using right now. So we're trying to move away from that a little bit, but I agree. I really love that typography too.
I like that one too.
Love it, especially the header. I also love the header. Logo design, logo design, logo design. Okay, I think the chat wants to see logo design.
Logo design?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So 2 things that we have to consider. This is a nondescript font. This is not the font, but just writing it out. The client was, it's important that we highlight them. We want to make sure that they are because this is their brand, this is who they are, and it's artists too. But we want to also highlight that, they are the entity of this. They are a part of this in some way. And so the key things behind the logo is things to keep in mind that we were kind of suggested to keep in mind was highlighting Bryn Cohn and also potentially creating a logo mark BC+A. So these are 2 things that we're going to consider as we develop out the logo, and just kind of playing with different elements, considering the mood board.
One quick thing, Edinah. We have an extra E in Bryn Cohn. Yeah, take out the E. So it's COHN. Yes. And then we're getting a comment from Bryn that she would like to explore further typography, just because the entire, I think 90% of the chat wanted to move on to logo design. Why don't we move on to logo design, and then we can go back to typography when we're done with logo design, so we can further continue exploring that as well.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So
okay. Thank you. I don't know why I kept typing that out. I was like, I knew I was getting something wrong. I was like, what am I doing? So thank you. So
no worries.
These are 2 important things. These are things that we're going to keep in mind. Just taking a look at this, we want to make sure that it's something that was pointed out actually was that we want to kind of, it's not very bold logo, but we want to play with 2 fonts potentially, right? Play with a sans serif and a serif font. And potentially layer within kind of, I think this was sort of an idea from what I can remember.
Yes, I think one of the important things that Bryn highlighted was that her name is Bryn Cohn, and her company name is Bryn Cohn and Artists. but now that she's transitioning to this new Bryn Cohn artist, she would like to have a differentiation between the name Bryn Cohn and the artists. So any way that we can find contrast between those two words is important. That can be achieved either through using different type styles. It can be achieved with sizing. It can be achieved like you were doing right now with the shape, or there's a lot of ways that we can achieve contrast. So that's one thing that we're going to implement for this logo.
Yes.
Caroline is asking, she's new to this chat and she's wondering if she should provide feedback or just learn from others. Our main goal for Adobe is really that you guys are able to learn from us and maybe see things that you can implement into your new workflow. But we love to hear your feedback, and that's why we sometimes just ask like, oh, do you guys have feedback? Do you guys like this? So you can do both.
Either or, it's all good.
And Colin, yes, he's saying must be some element of pressure designing with an audience. You have no idea, Colin. You have no idea. It's a lot of pressure.
To say the least. Yeah, but it's all good. It's just new, it's learning, and this is how get to try new things and get to hear other people's processes in the process too.
Yes, no, it's and you're a new Adobe Live person, so this is completely new to you.
Very
Edinah,
new.
how are you feeling?
I feel mixed emotion, but I overall feel really great. It's just like you said, it's different, it's unique, but it's a learning opportunity at the same time. Like we're all learning from each other, and I think that's amazing. And we're like connecting across the globe. Like I swear we're 10,000 miles apart or something. Like we're very far. Okay, maybe like 5,000 or something. And so that's amazing.
Yes, no, it's so, I always say that Adobe combines like all of my deepest fears, but every time that I'm here, I love it because I feel like I learn more from the audience and from you guys than I have to teach people. So it's really an awesome community.
Yeah.
And if you, just a reminder, if any of you guys are watching us through YouTube, you are missing all of the conversation and all of the chat, and that's where it gets fun. So hop onto behance.net/live and you can join the chat and you can let us know if there's anything you see that you like, or you don't tell us if you don't like it. No, okay. We don't take that kind of criticism.
We don't take that.
But yeah, hop onto the chat. It's where the fun is.
So as we're building this together, I'm thinking in terms of the logo, I might go to that list that we had like combined on just to see some fonts.
Yes, let's do it. We had pre-done a list with fonts that we liked on Adobe, and they're here. So we're gonna go through those. You guys tell us in the comments if you guys have an Adobe font that's your favorite.
Yeah,
I have so many. But
like
tell us. I'm so curious to know.
My favorite is Rock Grotesque.
Rock Grotesque. Oh, mine is P. What is it? It's P22 something.
P22.
There's one that it's like P22 Underground, I think.
Oh, I think I have that one.
And I think I was actually I found it because it was like an alternative to my 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 own font, which is like my brand's font, and I was like, oh, I wonder if there's one that's similar in Adobe, and that was like the closest alternative.
P22.
And I think it's called P22 Underground. I might, as you guys can see, I have like problems with memory. So Trade Gothic. Let's see.
Trade Gothic.
Montserrat,
yes.
I think we might have Trade Gothic in the list for today.
I thought so, but
I think so. Trade, isn't it?
It's got it's Franklin Gothic.
Franklin. Yeah. Never mind. Fruitiger. Oh my god, I want to write this down and then check them. I'm taking notes from the chat.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh.
Yes. Anything cursive. Eddie is into cursive fonts. How do you add the fonts? So, Edinah, do you mind really quick showing them?
Yeah, so I just loaded, this one I already have enabled. Choosing one off the list. I have this one too. So essentially it depends. So I've just clicked on one from this list. I clicked on Franklin Gothic URW, and even this too. Let's have a look. And Belly. Oh, I have this one. Okay, we'll go with this one because I don't have all of them. And so essentially you have to just make sure you're logged in the top right corner. And so once you're logged in into the Adobe fonts and you found the font that you want to use, you just have, there's two ways. So you can individually go through the selection to see, actually, which one do I want? Because some font families have a lot to choose from and you might not need everything and they do take up space. So it's also like, if you don't need it, it's also something to be mindful of, like, okay, maybe I just want to play with the compressed or the condensed or just the heavy. And so you can individually activate them just underneath the font example, the quick brown box, activate font. And you just select them. And what happens is when you make sure, if you make sure that you're logged in via the Adobe platform, which you can check here, which is the Creative Cloud, as long as you're logged in, the font that you have just activated on the website will automatically, within minutes to seconds, depending on your internet speed, apply to all of the applications installed on your device. So regardless of PC or a Mac, it will always be the same. Like, it will always activate that way. Another way is to just activate all of them. You can literally just at the top where the name is Franklin Gothic URW, to the right hand side, it will have, when they have more than one type of font, you then have the option to just activate the family. So if you wanted to say, I don't want URW compressed, but I really want extra compressed, so you can just activate them. And as long as you've got this, you've activated these, it's applied to your account. And that's how you do it.
Just like that. Magic.
Just like that. Magic.
Yes.
So that was Franklin Gothic. This is Belly. I think this is what I have activated, and I'm using, I think it's either this one for the typography. Clarendon. Oh. I get the sense that the brand is kind of taking a retro approach, and I'm not quite sure if this is.
Yeah, that might not
very
fit.
Retro. Yeah, this one might not.
I agree.
I feel like if there was a not so heavy one of this, I feel like this might work. The belly display regular.
That one,
it's like kind of heavy.
Yeah, I kind of like it though.
This
But
one?
I don't know if it's gonna be too much. Just because it's
It's too
such a
heavy.
long name, it might be too much. If it was shorter, I think it would be better.
Oh, we could potentially try this tennis, which I have.
And Caroline is.
Also,
Oh,
oh,
sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, as well, if you really like a font and you're like, oh, I really want to see who designed it, the foundry, and really want to see what else they've created, you can see Designed by here, and you can then go and see more of what has been created by them, by the person or foundry. Also at the bottom of the screen too, and there's also more information about it, about the font. So there's so much you can find, and there's also a way that you can, if you have access to it and you're designing a website, you can also get the web family. That's how I sometimes do it. You can also copy and paste this and put it into code as well. If you have, because like on Adobe, typically all fonts are licensed for personal and commercial usage, and then that way, if you're on a web platform and you're integrating these fonts and you have the access to them, you can go ahead and just depending on which one that you need, you just click details at the bottom depending on how large the font family is. Say I want Tenez Black, click that and it will automatically update the font weight.
So, yeah, cool.
Yeah. And it also tells you like the language, the web language, filters, if you want to get really, really detailed and really want to explore fonts. Yeah, like serif, whether it's heavy, and then you click this, for example, then you go back to, you're in the filters, and you're like, I want to find more heavy fonts. So there's so much.
Yes.
But yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Edinah, for that information.
Yeah, did someone say something in the chat?
Oh no, Caroline was just asking how to activate other fonts that she downloads for free. That you just have to like double click on the zip file, and then you're gonna double click on the font you want to activate, and it's gonna pop up a window for the font activation, and then you just go from there. That won't have anything to do with the Adobe software until you're done with the activation. Then you can open your software and it should live in there. So that I don't think it's related to the typography corner thing that you're asking, but I hope that helps.
Okay, so these are the remaining fonts on that list.
And we can look for other ones too, or just like from fonts that you already have in your computer.
Okay, yeah. So I really like the ones you chose. I really like Bennett Banner. So
that one is nice.
And Plantain, I think, is pretty good too. So let's explore.
Let's do it. And we have about 22 more minutes until we do the creative challenge critique. So let's jump into it.
Yeah. So how do you approach like logo design? Like how would you, I'm not sure if that really works.
I usually start with doing a list of like I would do Bryn Cohn an artist in multiple typographies, so I can see how the letters flow in all of the typographies that I like, and I will do that list, and then I will start experimenting and with sizing or like tracking and maybe like putting some other elements. I usually start with the typography aspect of it, unless it's something that I know it's going to be very icon driven. Then I will go into iconography first. But when it's something that has a long name like this, I start with typography, because I think that if the typography is not working, then nothing will. so it's, for me, that's my first step. And yes, I also love the random facts in the chat. I agree with you, Michael. Yeah, typography and font, like the font world, it's giant. There's so many things to learn and to get, and so, yeah, that's true. Okay. I like that one, that extended last one. It's cool too.
This one, yeah, I feel like,
and that one too.
I don't know, I think it works have being quite extended because I don't know, I think it works quite well, and it's in contrast to the condensed too. If we were to go back and choose a condensed for the heading, the header text, but then should it be condensed?
Yeah. So it has, I think maybe that's somewhere where we can play with, maybe the Bryn Cohn is extended and then the artist is condensed, or the other way around, so we can see that
the contrast.
That contrast. Let's see.
Yeah.
I like the first best. So that was Bryn. She likes the first type.
Oh,
option.
I've just changed it. So does she mean now or from before? Maybe it's from before.
I'm guessing from before, because
this one.
Yes, I'm guessing because it might have a slight delay. Let us know, Bryn, in the comments if that's the one that you say. It went away. No, yeah. So she meant that one.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, the one that we're back to from before. Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying, Bryn.
Yeah. So what I like to do is, once I have a chosen direction. So this is the chosen direction, and these are the ones that the logos for now that we'll be focusing on. I actually like to exit the type. So what I like to do is select all, go to down here, quick actions. There's two ways. So this is one way, is to create outlines. So basically it just makes the type into vector art, and that way it can now be scaled.
Before you do that, sorry. Sorry. So it's artist, it's Bryn Cohn plus artists with an S.
Oh, hey, I did. Yeah,
there
that's what I put here.
I know.
Don't understand what's wrong with me.
Don't worry. The other day, I'm working with two beauty brands right now, and one it's called Wild, and the other one it's called White Rabbit. And I was designing a logo, and then I spent like an hour on it, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. I like it. And then I'm like, and I wrote Wild Rabbit. But I closed the design. I finished that design, and I'm like, oh damn, it's spelled wrong.
This is incorrect.
So I hear you.
The joys.
Not only you.
The joys. Trials and tribulations of a creative 101. So that's just one thing I like to do, is I can select all and create outlines at the bottom. I think it's because I use that a lot, and what you would do this for is typically create outlines. That's why it's a quick action. Otherwise, an alternative is just to go to object and expand appearance. You may have to click it a few times. So you click expand appearance, and you would go object again, and then press expand. And then you make sure that object and fill are selected, and then you press OK. And you get the exact same thing as the exact same result when you click create outlines at the bottom. So yeah.
Awesome.
So what you'll find is when you do that, most of the time it's like grouped together, and I like things to be like sectioned off. So like each section. So I like to just like copy and press A, or press the direct selection tool, highlight the section, Command C, copy, delete, and then Command V, paste. And then I've separated them. It just means that you then have to regroup, which is either you can Pathfinder it that way by selecting all and clicking merge all, or Command G on your desktop. And so it just groups them together. So I just like to make sure everything's separate so I can work fluidly. So yeah.
Cool.
So I feel like looking at this, it would be cool to, I don't know, I kind of do like the idea of this. What do you think?
I think that's cool. I think the only thing that we're missing there, it's the contrast between Bryn.
The two, yeah.
Because I know that's important for the client. So maybe exactly, maybe having one inside of the box and then the other one outside, it's gonna help to that contrast.
I also like to just keep a type aside. I forgot to mention that. Is like I like to just keep the native type so that even if I do end up having to create another one, I can go back to quite easily, and I just keep it off the artboard.
Yes, that's a great that's a great advice. Because otherwise then you're like, oh, what was the font that I was using? Right. I don't know, because I outlined it. And if you have my memory, then you will really not know.
I feel like you know more than you say. You know, it's like it's in that moment, right? When you're creating that you forget, but you actually know. It's just like, oh, it's lazy.
Yes, and that's what you guys were saying about designing live. Like, if I'm designing alone, I know everything. But when you're under pressure, you're like, oh, where was this button? Where do I?
Right. I'm thinking to just reduce the weight of it, maybe. Oh, well, I did it again.
Bye, Mike. Don't leave us. Where are you going? No. Mike's going. He's gonna miss the challenge. It's okay. You can replay it tomorrow on repeat. So for everyone there that's watching us, tell us about you guys. Like, what kind of designs your favorite to do? Do you guys like doing branding? Do you guys like print, social media? What really drives your heart? Aw, thank you for staying. So let's see if I can get this right this time. That one was, he's saying that he was supposed to leave, but that he's staying because you're doing great. And he wants to see what you want to do. So
thank you. That is so nice.
Illustration for branding. Cool, Paul. Branding and illustration. Oh, we have plenty illustrators in here.
Love illustration too.
Branding and oh my God, so many illustrators. That's so cool. See, that's something that I don't do that often, but it's so much fun. I feel like illustration, it's way more relaxing than logo design. At least like when you're doing it, it like helps you get lost and like enjoy the process a little more than like always thinking like, oh, but what is the client gonna say? And what does this letter really reads from far away? Like packaging, do we have some
pressure?
We have packaging designers. Gideon, send us your links too, so you guys can all check out each other's work later on.
Oh.
Branding lovers. Social media and editorial for Brian. That's great because tomorrow Edinah will be designing some social media templates. And if you guys haven't checked her out on Instagram, you guys should. And you guys will see that what she does for social media, it's really good. So I'm really excited to be learning from you tomorrow about this topic.
You. That's really nice of you.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm really waiting for it to rest. Okay, see, I'm looking for brand identity.
So I literally kind of just brain dump when I create. I literally just do whatever comes and I just explore and I just go with the flow and I end up just, because it's an artboard, so I treat it as such.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the Bryn Cohn on the square.
I was trying to make it a square, but it kind of doesn't.
No, but that's fine. That it's not a square either. It's cool.
Yay. Yeah, it's either to do it. I had two ways in my head, so it's like this way.
Oh, see, Camila's doing a social media template right now. So,
ooh.
What are you doing social media templates for, Camila? And Parth is saying that he loves this box type. Yeah, it's really cool.
This could be really cool. I can imagine if she's, what she used for. Like, I imagine it could be in like a social icon. Like if it's without artists, for example, it could be something like this. Say we'll use this. Oh, I'm like on the wrong layer as well. Look, that design. So say this is, I don't know, like the social media. Oh, what do you call, like a code, like the picture? Social media.
The avatar?
That. It could be like that.
Cool.
Example.
Some other people in the chat are loving the square one, by the way. A lot of them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And Paul is asking, he has an interview, a job interview tomorrow. Congratulations, Paul, and good luck. And he's asking if we have any interview pointers. Oh, okay.
Wait, what kind of role is it?
Yes, what kind of role is it? That's important to know. But I think that for any interview, for any job interview, it's really important to research the company and have research the past work that they have done and really, so that when you're working with them, it shows that you did your research and that you do care about getting that job. It's not only I'm here to get any job, but you really like their company and their work resonates with you. So definitely doing research is something very important. Oh, I like that too. That second one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
His job is in digital marketing design.
And
Camila,
I think just to, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, a touch upon what you said is about presenting yourself as if not that you're a match to, but in a sense considering their ethos and considering their mission, if they have this available, but even just looking at their aesthetics, are you a match as well? Because just as much as you're going for their job, they're also, they're investing in you, you are amplifying them, potentially amplifying them. So look at it as an exchange in a way. It's not that they're above you or they're searching. It's more so that, are we aligned? and something for you to consider, not, you know, and then not just like visually or aesthetically, but also inside too.
Yes, and I think that's super important for you, especially because you need to make sure that you're gonna end up with a job that really aligns with you and that you're happy with, and not only like, oh, I got this job. It's about having like a real match and a place that you really feel comfortable at. So super important for sure. And I would say also, I mean, I don't want to say like play hard to get, but like go with security that you're like, don't be like, oh yeah, I'll take anything, I'll do anything. If you see something that doesn't resonate with you, you're like, oh yeah, I don't know if I like this would work for me. If they offer you a salary that you're not happy with, speak up and say, oh, is there a way that we can get, obviously don't go into it in the first interview and go in it when they offer you the job, but like be if you're sure of yourself and of the work you do, be like, stand up your ground. I think that's important too.
Yes.
And Cornell is asking, work for an employer or start your own business? Let's see what the guys have to say, or the guys and girls, sorry.
What everyone has to say. I must say that I actually didn't have a choice. I myself, like, just trying to find an opportunity was challenging, so I just created my own. But it was not like to create a business, it was just completely accidental. Like, it just happened the way it did. But that's because I chose to believe in myself. So always believe in yourself, no matter the direction you take.
Yes, that's super important. I think it's the base for it all. And trust yourself. Like, I have a tattoo in my wrist that says that. So every time I have a doubt, I just flip it. Like, yeah, I can do it. We can do it.
This is what I've got going so far. These are my favorites. These are my brain dumps, and then these are my favorites.
You guys, do you guys have any favorites? I guess I can put them one.
I can put them all here. I have this one. Ta-da!
Eddie says that he has a tattoo on his palm that says "Pay me." I should get that one next.
That is amazing. I love that. I must have heard. Just thought about that.
Camila is saying that she really dreams working for her own business, but she can't right now. And I completely understand you, Camila. I was in the same situation. And the good thing is that even if you're working for someone, you're learning. Oh, I like that, what you're doing, Edinah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, okay. I like that square. So it's really everything. It's a learning opportunity. And even if you feel right now that you're stuck at a job, it's not really being stuck. It's like just an opportunity to learn and gather more information to jump off to something else later. So you're gonna get there. I'm sure you will.
Something I always like to say when I feel challenged, or especially like my past work opportunities, as in not in the field of design, but where I was like dreaming of something better and not really, I was living in the moment too much and concentrating on like, I want to get out versus like, what can I get from now, is that right now is not forever. Like it's impossible to be forever.
Yes, that's true. That's very important to know. And especially the right now that we're living, let's hope that's not forever.
Gosh, yeah. That's something else entirely. I like these square ones too.
I really like how those stack up. And Bryn is asking, she says she likes the BC plus A in the square. I really like that too.
Which one? This one or this one?
I think the one underneath, the one which is just the BC plus the A.
No, I mean, which square? Do you mean the left? I mean, it's not really a square, but like with or without artist, basically.
No, I think because I think what she means in her comments is the one underneath.
Yeah, she likes
that one,
this
that one.
one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm asking you the square.
I'm asking.
Which one? This one in the middle or on the left?
On the left, because we need to have the plus artists. Or you? Okay. Oh, okay.
You see, I can add
so
it
the
too.
one that it's more square, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the one that's more elongated gives me a more, like, luxurious twist. I know it's like a tiny difference.
No, it makes a difference. Yeah,
but
these elevate, like a little bit elevated.
Yeah, I like the square, the one on the right better. What do you guys think? Oh, and while you guys think of that, it's time for us to do the daily creative challenge review.
Amazing.
So take a mental picture of what we have on the screen and take this time to digest it, and we will be back with designs. We're gonna go to our daily creative challenge, and let me just share my screen really quick. Okay, do you guys all take a mental picture of what we're gonna be deciding on later? I hope you did, because we're going into the daily creative challenge review now. Let's see, let me open up my Discord channel, and we're gonna be reviewing. Okay, so the challenge for today was to use the edit color tool and do just like try that in different colors. So these is from B Castal. Let's see. Okay, so the original art is inspired from the 50s, from an advertising photo of the 50s. It does look very 50s indeed. And then she played around.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Are you able to? If you stop sharing your screen, you'll be able to see it.
Thank you. Amazing.
So
here
we are. You are the master of color, Edinah. So I think that all the combinations are working really well. You have enough contrast between all of the items. I would maybe say the one that I think has the least contrast. So my least favorite out of all of them is this one, the one with the blue background, because I feel the Fabulous Fitness gets a little bit lost, but all of the other ones I think are working great. And my favorite is, I don't know. I like a lot of them, but I would say this, the one on the bottom left corner, it's really working for me. What do you think, Edinah?
I agree. I think I believe the second one on the left hand side is just a little challenging. Like the pop up stands out more, so the fabulous fitness kind of blends in. But I like the color choices. It's probably just playing around with what's the background, etc. My favorite is actually on the right hand side too. It's the one with the yes, that one.
I
Or
knew it.
that
I'm
one.
like, I know.
The one below. I like that one. Yeah, that one is very 50s. Like I get the 50s vibe. It looks like a game. It kind of looks like a game too.
Yeah, no,
A UI of something that would be in a game. I love the like, yeah, they're my favorite. That's fun.
I love these. I
Fabulous.
think you did an
Just in
amazing
general.
job.
Yeah. Oh, that was so
Let's
cool.
see something else. Ooh, nice.
That is so cool.
Really, really cool. I love how all of this is working, and I am in love with this one from the top right corner. That's definitely my favorite. Yeah, it's, I mean, this illustration, it's really cool. It's just a self-portrait.
Yeah, it is
Christina.
So. Christina. Yeah.
Let us know if you're in the chat, and I am loving these. What do you think, Edinah?
Yeah, that one's my favorite too. I think it's the most complementary in terms of colors, but just in general, it kind of looks like it's very pop art, and it looks that they look like it looks like a mural. Like together, that looks like one image. You know?
Yes.
It's really cool. So talented.
Yeah, really cool. I really like this one. Is so soft. I adore it. We have another one here from Amy. Smash It Gym. So they're all working on like a gym concept too during this creative challenge. So they have been working on that, just a little bit of context with their trainer. So
Nikki said yes, it's a self-portrait.
Oh, great job.
Yeah.
I love it. Tell me that you did that prior to this challenge, because if you made that portrait right now, I have to leave.
Oh, you're funny.
Okay, so Smash It Gym.
Smash It. Yeah.
Cool. I like, which one's my favorite? I mean, I feel like they all give you a different sense. Like color it's so much, because like the one from the left, the Smash It, like they're all Smash It, but the pink one from the green one, I feel like they're two different gyms, and it does give you like color plays such an important role. I like the way that you're using the dark color to outline the word, because I think this font that you're using, it's sometimes a little bit hard to read, especially when you're using it in like all caps. Or so I think that doing this outline in black really helps bring that forward and helps with the legibility of it, which is, if you compare, like when you have an outline that it's not that contrasty, it kind of brings the legibility down like it does here. So my favorite personally is this one, because it's like easier to read, but that's just me. What do you think, Edinah?
Yeah, I agree. I love all of them. I think they're really great color palettes, and they, like, as in color usage, and they all kind of give a different sense of the brand, like of what the brand could be. I actually like the one with the pink background, but I do agree with the font that it just slightly is illegible because of the type that it is. Something to just be mindful of, but I think it's really cool overall, and I think having that 3D texture in the back just makes it stand out more and adds like way more fun too.
Yes, great job. Oh
wow.
more things to come. Let's see.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I want to be there.
That is so fun.
Cool. I really like how you used all of the colors to create these. I think I'm sure you had a lot of fun using the edit color tool. I have. I mean, this is hard because it's balloons. It's hard to tell you like which one I like better, or but I think they're all working. Maybe in this, I mean, this one I think it works because it looks like you're having like an edge to it or like a shadow. So I think it really works to have those in the side as opposed to having it like in the front or like just cutting the the pattern, like the color pattern. So I really like this that you did in here. And yeah, do you have any comments, Edinah? Anything you want to share?
No. It's amazing overall. Like, I just think it's a good use of color and it's fun. Hot air balloon, if I just color, it's great.
Cool.
And I think because there's so much use of the various colors, it just works together because they're all kind of a bit random, that it looks purposeful.
Yes, that's true. JD, he was exploring with the document that was provided with them, which is completely fine too. And I think the use of, so we can solely focus on the use of color. I really like how all of these are working. I think they're super fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. I love these. This one I really like. I really like this. I think just like overall the bottom row is my personal favorite, but having said that, I think they're all working really good.
I agree. Blue is actually my favorite color. So anything with blue, I'm always drawn towards. So that middle top one I really like that one. The one on the left is great, complementary as well. Like the one that you chose, sorry, the purple with the purple background. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really fun. Okay, we're gonna do one more so we can get back to work, but we're gonna see Kiki. Here is her challenge. I think for this, we're going on to a past challenge, which was doing a badge design. We're not into color anymore. This was I think yesterday's or the day, 2 days prior. But she's doing a badge design for a gym or something related to fitness, and it's called Stretching Studio. So I really like how you work with the shapes in general. Like, I think these, especially this shape, really adds up to that idea of stretching and like elongating. So this, for me, it's working really well. Right, like this top part, it's really good. I would say like all of this top part and here, because this is a badge, I would consider legibility at like different scales. So I think it might be a little too charged for a badge, like this part right here, especially when you're using too many textures. When you translate this into different settings, it might be a little hard to read. I love the design, but I think that just considering that from like a usability standpoint or whatever, that might get a little hard to read when you either go to color or you go smaller. So that's something to consider. But overall, like all of this part, I really like what's happening. And in terms of colors, I like this one personally because it does have way more contrast and it's easy. And I think that's also like this blue thing is contributing to these one being more readable. But that's what I have to say. Edinah, do you have anything to add? Or
Oh, I agree. I think they're amazing badges. It's just that because there's a lot of information when scaling it, any smaller could be an issue. But they're really cool. Like such a great play on shape and color. Stretching studio as well. Like that kind of looks like one of those plinths that you would kind of lean against and stretch with, or like kickboxing. I think it is. Yeah, so cool.
thank you, Dina, and thank you guys so much for submitting. There's so many things to go through. I want to see them all, but we have to go back to work with Edinah. So let's go back to Edinah and let's try to finalize this. We have 15 minutes to select something, and maybe like you guys in the chat help us with whatever you want to share.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So back. Ooh, did I? Okay, yeah, there we go. Back on the logos. I mean, yeah, I created quite a few.
Let's see. We have. I want to see if there's more recent comments about Bryn. So Bryn said, I like the very top one with the outline of Bryn Cohn and the square with just the 4 letters. Okay, so she likes that one and then this one. Those two are Bryn's favorite ones. Bryn, are we understanding that right? Let us know if those are the 2 that you like. Sadora is saying she likes the one from the top right. Oh, now we have. Never mind. But
I can put them back for now.
No, don't worry.
This is the top right?
Top right?
Right?
I don't see a top right one.
I think it would be this one.
Yeah.
Because that's like at the top.
Yeah, top. Yeah, so now let's see what you guys are. Okay, so Bryn, yes, those 2 that we had selected were the ones that Bryn liked. And yes, so she liked this one. I'm showing you with my finger.
This one and this
like
one.
This one and this one. See, that one and exactly. So those 2 that she likes, and maybe so I'm thinking that because we are using the same, we're using the same typography for both, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
It's the same type. It could even work as like one thing, meaning Bryn Cohn plus artists with the square can work as the main mark, and then the other one can work when she wants to use it condensed too.
Yeah, that's how I kind of imagined it. It was more so like this is a primary logo, this is a brand mark or a sub logo because it has reference to the name itself, the company's name, and then kind of developing a middle tier logo, something that can be used maybe in say like the footer of a website, you know. Less important than the primary logo, but still has a significance and relates to the brand itself, since we're not having any icons or anything like that.
I like that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do it. But really, you do it. Because I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything today, but tomorrow, guys, I promise I will be designing for you guys a little bit.
She will show you some behind the scenes of her process.
Yes, I promise. I promise. Today, this time, I just got too lazy and let Edinah do all the work. But tomorrow for those of you that didn't hear us before, but tomorrow we're gonna be working with more assets for Bryn. we're going to be doing, well, Edinah is going to be working on social media templates, and I'm going to be working on photo manipulation and to create a banner for her website. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. But we're going to in between today and tomorrow, we're going to compile some brand guidelines. So we're going to show you that tomorrow as well, so you guys can see.
Oh.
Eddie, are you making fun of me? He's like, well, you're hilarious. I think that's because I was pointing to your screen. And
like
clearly.
this and this.
Like that.
Does that work?
Ooh.
I don't feel like that. Does that work?
Let's see. What do you have the tracking set to?
This is just literally extra wide. Maybe I should do wide.
Oh, maybe that one works a little better. I
just want to kind of like explore contrast and see what that plays like.
Yeah, I like that contrast. I mean, I think that contrast is really working, what we were like saying at the beginning. Can we try the font? Bryn is asking, can we try the font you both liked from the mood board? From the mood?
This one, For All Womankind.
Oh.
I think, is that the one that she...
Yeah. Yes, for that one. And
I'm trying to remember it. It begins with an F. It's very similar.
And while you look for that, Hannah is asking us, what made you choose a name for your design business, something other than your name? She's stuck between using her name or business. I can address that while you look for it. So you don't have to, and then we'll go into you. I actually decided to call my business Onlychild because I felt I wanted something bigger than myself. Like, I didn't want to just go and freelance as Lina Cordero. I wanted to actually start my own business and see that business grow up eventually. So providing other services other than what I just could provide as Lina. And also I really wanted that name because at the time, and this is a fun story, but at the time I was working for a company and I had a child. I have a 2-year-old daughter. We have 2 minutes left, but I'll say it really quick. I had 2-year-old daughter, and when I quit my job, I said, like, I just want to quit this job so I can focus on my child, because I felt that I had 2 bosses and 2 childs, because my boss was very needy at the time. So that's why it's called Onlychild. But okay, guys, we have very, very little time left. So Edinah, if you want to share some, like, a last thing with us before we go.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can answer that question. For me, honestly, coming from a fashion, and I also have retail experience too, like fashion retail and buying and styling. For me, it was like almost like a pivot, a transition. And so I actually had a lot of imposter syndrome. It was really difficult to trust myself. And so for me, I just chose Wildlogic because it's not only a word that I would echo with my business bestie and something that she would describe me as, but it just was something that I am. And so I didn't put my name on for a very long time on Wildlogic after I had decided to launch with it. And so Wildlogic has just become my design space to create wild and free ideas. Like, it's dedicated to that exploration. So that's why my process is I feel it's very ethereal. I'm a very ethereal person.
I love it. I love that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to continue refining this a little bit more off screen. And then tomorrow, we're going to show you the brand guidelines that we are able to accomplish, and we're gonna keep on working on some assets. So if you guys like social media design, connect tomorrow, because Edinah is gonna show us her process, and I will be showing you some of my process as well.
Oh.
So thank you guys.
I did it.